Hey, Grace Meridian Hill family, welcome back to 3 for 30 on 8. It's Saturday, so don't forget to get some fresh air and do things a little bit differently today. But let's start the day with a word from Romans 8, verses 5 and 6. Here's what it says: Those who live according to the flesh have their mind set on what the flesh desires. But those who live in accordance with the Spirit have their mind set on what the Spirit desires. The mind governed by the flesh is death, but the mind governed by the Spirit is life and peace. One of the great promises of our salvation is that God gives us His Spirit. And one of the great blessings of God's Spirit, we're told, is life and peace. I mean, who doesn't want peace these days? But let's be clear. Peace doesn't mean floating on a cloud above all this coronavirus business. And as much as my kids love and I love The Lion King, peace also doesn't mean Hakuna Matata, just forget about your worries. In the Bible, peace comes from the idea of wholeness, not being fragmented. Often our minds, our emotions, our body are scattered, darting in a million different directions. Peace means being centered, being rooted when the wind blows, anchored in the storm. God's Spirit promises us that kind of peace. But how do you get it? Our passage tells us it all comes down to what your mind is set on: the desires of the flesh or the desires of the Spirit. As one commentator from the 18th century put it, the man is as the mind is. As he thinketh in his heart, so is he. So, what have you been setting your mind on lately? If you've been filling your imagination with the coping mechanisms of food or pornography or alcohol, or if you've just been setting your mind all the time on coronavirus news, or if you've been turning over in your heart anxious thoughts, or your to-do list, if that's all that's been filling your mind all day, you'll experience a kind of inner death and zero peace. But we can choose differently. Steward your thoughts today. Be aware of where your mind drifts and what it lingers on. Choose to set your mind on the things of God's Spirit, the love of Christ, the sovereign grace of God, God's promises. Maybe today you can even spend a few minutes memorizing, uploading into your heart the first few verses of Romans 8, as we went over it a couple days ago. Center your minds on your freedom in Christ, your freedom from false guilt, and God will give you peace. He promises He will. In John 14, Jesus says this: Peace I leave with you. My peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid. Have a great day, friends, living in light of God's love and God's peace.